D, wait for it, delightful.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
What's up, nerds, and welcome to my week in review, where I come to you every Sunday with 3 entertainment stories that I personally find interesting, and then we discuss them down below. Now, also down below, you can find the articles that I read to bring you this video, and you can read them for yourself, or you can just listen to me, and I'm going to break them all down for you. I also want to say that if you like what I do here, and you enjoy independent content here on YouTube, please consider subscribing to my channel. YouTube is always changing up their algorithm, and small channels like mine, we just keep getting shoved to the back of the line. So please ask that you like, share, and subscribe, and I thank you in advance. All right, so now that we got that business out of the way, why don't we go ahead and get started on these 3 stories, which all have a theme to them. It's Star Trek and everything, but well, the last one's really not Star Trek, but kind of. Anyways, but why don't we go ahead and get started on this first story. So, for my first story of the week, all right, you guys, so it looks like we're gonna get that Star Trek movie that they just keep promising, right? And they've added a producer. And who's the producer? It's Simon Kinberg. Now, who is Simon Kinberg? Well, he is a writer slash director slash producer. You know, everybody's in that way. And he's done a lot of things. He's mostly, right, I think most people know him now for the latest X-Men movies, you know. For instance, that last X-Men movie that he did, which pretty much ruined X-Men for a while for people, was the Dark Phoenix and everything. But, you know, hold on. Let me pull up the article. There he is on this article from Deadline, my favorite. And I'm not going to go through this article too much, but so basically, Simon Kinberg, if you don't know who it is, he is a writer. So he wrote and directed X-Men Dark Phoenix. But before that, he did the screenplay for X-Men Apocalypse, which in my opinion was not very good. But he also did the screenplay for X-Men Days of Future Past, which that movie is great. I love that movie. That's probably in my top 3 X-Men movies, my favorite X-Men movies. I think X2 is still my favorite, just because it's just so good. So probably it's X2, X-Men Days of Future Past, and then maybe First Class. I'm not quite sure. Maybe Logan. Maybe Logan's number 2, and then it's X-Men Days of Future Past, because X-Men Days of Future Past is really, really good. Dark Phoenix will never be in the top anything. It'll be on the bottom. So, now the plot details are still under wraps on this movie of what it's going to be about. But I don't know if Simon Kinberg is the best choice. We'll see. Because, I mean, if you think about all the other movies that he's done, I mean, he did that Sherlock Holmes movie, the first one. And that movie was okay. But he also did stuff like Jumper. I didn't like that one, whatnot. But, but he did do some Star Wars Rebels, which I personally did enjoy that show. I liked it from beginning to end, so, whatever. But then he also did shows like Invasion, and then he also did that new show on Mr. and Mrs. Smith. He's got some creds on that or whatnot, but he did the screenplay, I believe, for the first movie. Don't quote me on that, but anyway, so Simon Kinberg is a hit or miss, in my opinion. I don't know if he's going to be good for this movie, but he's only producing, so it's not like he's writing. We'll see what happens there if he does end up writing it. But I don't know. We'll see how it turns out. I'm not really interested in Star Trek right now, just because ever since 2009, Star Trek has just been going downhill, in my opinion. The only thing that I can think of off the top of my head that was just fantastic was Picard Season 3, and I'll talk about that later. But other than that, everything new Star Trek has just been pure trash. So we'll see if Simon Kinberg can pull it around and produce something that's decent, but I'm not going to hold out hope. All right, you guys, so that was my first story of the week. So for my second story of the week, all right, you guys, speaking of Star Trek, Holly Hunter has been cast as the main lead in Star Trek Starfleet Academy. Now, this is a new show coming out on Paramount Plus. And they announced it a while ago or whatnot, but they've hired Holly Hunter to be the captain slash chancellor. So she's going to be like the president of the school or whatnot. And now, if you don't know who Holly Hunter is, you're insane, because I love Holly Hunter. She's fantastic. I mean, she was recently in Succession. She was only in, I think, like a couple of episodes, like 4 or 5 episodes and everything, but she was great. But she's also known for doing the voice of Mrs. Incredible from The Incredibles 1 and 2. And, of course, she did a great job there. And then a lot of people also know her from she plays Senator Phil Finch, something like that, in Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, which again wasn't like my favorite movie of all time, but she did a good job. And then of course she did famous work in like Raising Arizona. God, I love her in Raising Arizona. I love that movie. That movie's so good. And then she was in this movie called 13, and I love her in that. If you haven't seen that movie, I personally enjoy that movie a lot, but if you don't, obviously, like, what are you gonna do? But she's great. Now, as far as this show goes, I think that hiring someone like Holly Hunter was great. She's the captain now. And, it's all about who the captain is on the show. So we're going to pull this down. So Holly Hunter's character will serve as the captain and chancellor of the academy, presenting over both a faculty and a new class of Starfleet cadets as they learn to navigate the galaxy in the 32nd century. So I think that the biggest, hiring Holly Hunter was a great decision because she's great. My biggest problem, and it's always been my biggest problem, is Alex Kurtzman. Why they keep giving this man Star Trek, I do not understand. I don't like him. I think that he is a hack, but he comes from the school of J.J. Abrams, and J.J. Abrams is a hack. So I think that when it comes to Star Trek, I think they need to get rid of Hideaway or something like that, or Hidden Place or whatever his production company is, and Bad Robot. Get them all out of here. Nobody wants your shit around. Nobody likes you guys. Your Star Trek is trash, pure trash. And I think that you just because you hire these stars like Holly Hunter doesn't cover up the shit that you guys are putting out. It's just shit with glitter on it. And I'm personally not interested. I'll watch the show and cover it because it's Star Trek. And I've been watching Star Trek since I was 10 when I started watching Star Trek. It was during Deep Space Nine. And I loved Deep Space Nine, and then I slowly went, and then of course Voyager came after that, and Enterprise. But after Voyager, I started watching the older shows of Star Trek, and I just love Star Trek. So, I mean, will this turn out? I don't know, man. This show doesn't seem like my cup of tea, but at the same time, I'll watch it. But it just feels like they're just going to be stuck in a building the whole time, and Holly Hunter won't be an a huge part of it. She'll just be like, she'll show up as like the principal, but then we just see the shenanigans of the other people in this show. And I don't know, we'll see. I just don't have faith in Alex Kurtzman and anything to do with Star Trek at the moment. All right, you guys. So that was my second story of the week. So for my third and final story this week. Okay, you guys. So they are still going ahead with this Vision show. Now, it was called Vision Quest before, but I think it's just going to be called Vision now, which is fine by me. And the thing about this is the MCU has not addressed any of this crap that's gone on in these shows. They haven't addressed the fact that White Vision is just wandering around the Earth, just doing his own thing. He's just, fucking around or whatnot. And they've literally done nothing with it, which, I mean, I guess is fine, but they haven't addressed it. And that's the problem with the MCU at the moment. But what they've done here is they've made a good decision, okay? And they've hired Terry Matalas. Now, who is Terry Matalas? Now, this goes back to Star Trek and everything, but I've got a picture of him right here. But Terry Matalas is the showrunner and writer of Picard Season 3. Now, he did work on Picard during Seasons 1 and Seasons 2, but he really took charge in Season 3. And as I've said before, and I'll say it now, Picard Season 3 is the only good Star Trek for new Trek, as in my opinion. They brought back the old crew, and I thought the storyline was great. I thought it fit in really well. It was a great send-off to the Star Trek Next Generation cast. If they never do another Star Trek Next Generation project, because those people are getting up there in age, it's tough to deal with, but that's the reality of it. But if they never bring those people back, this was a great send-off. And Star Trek season 3, and so if you look at Star Trek Picard and you look at the show overall, it is sitting at an 89%. That is the critics score, which is not bad. I mean, critics suck, so who cares what they think. But look at the audience score. It's sitting at 57%. That is bad, in my opinion. It's not good. It's not good. And it's obviously Rotten Tomato. But then if you go in by season, so this is season 1. It is, again, 86%, critic score, but it's a 52% by audience scores, and season 1 sucked. But then if you look at season 2, it's got a 30% audience score. Season 2 was bad. Season 1 was bad, and season 2 was just a complete abortion and everything. But then if you look at season 3, it is sitting at 89% on Rotten Tomatoes. Now, I know a lot of people don't want to, take Rotten Tomatoes into account, and that's fine. I'm just saying, like, if you just look at the the audience scores each season, season 3 is the obviously the best one, and it is the best one. So I think hiring Terry Matalas was a great idea, and this is another reason why. Because Terry Matalas is a fan. And he was a fan of Star Trek when he started on that. And he worked on the first couple of seasons, but he only worked on a couple of episodes. And in season 2, the 2 episodes that he did work on were the best episodes of the season. They were the first 2 episodes. So I think Terry Matalas, and then he's also being a fan of Marvel, I think that he will, because that's the thing. When you bring in people that love the project that they are working on, you will get a quality product. And Kevin Feige used to be a fan. He was a fan of Marvel Comics. And he created great movies. I mean, not every one of them was great. I mean, I don't like Iron Man 2 and Iron Man 3. But, and then Thor, The Dark World, that sucked. But, but for the most part, they were pretty good. They were good movies. So I think bringing someone in like Terry Matalas was a good idea. And kudos to them for thinking of him. And I bet his pitch was just great. All right, you guys, so those are my 3 stories of the week. Tell me, what do you guys think about all of this? How do you feel about Star Trek, the movie, finally getting, going forward, but getting a producer of Simon Kinberg? Do you think this is a good idea, a bad idea? Do you think Simon Kinberg's track record has just been, there's just been too many flops that you're just like, I don't want him and everything? Or do you think this is a good, a good sign for Star Trek moving forward, and we'll just have to see what happens? Also, tell me what you guys think about Holly Hunter joining Starfleet Academy, the TV show. Do you think this is a good idea or a bad idea? I love Holly Hunter, but I don't have faith in this show at all. Do you have faith in this show? And if you do, tell me why, and if you're going to watch the show. And finally, tell me, how do you guys feel about Terry Matalas joining this Vision show as the showrunner? Do you think this is a step in the right direction? He'll get rid of all those Rick and Morty writers? Or do you think this is like, we're just going to have to wait and see? And is Vision really the place that we want to go forward with this character? Because it's going to be one of those spotlight things. So it's one of those, you don't have to watch it to get the whole story. And I'm like, that was the problem before, that's what the everybody loved about Marvel, is because it was all interconnected. And, it's like you had to watch this to understand this, and it's like now it's like it's all up in the air, and you're like, I don't know what the hell's going on. But do you think this is a good idea, hiring Terry Matalas for this Vision show? And that's all I got for you guys this week, but tell me what you guys think about it. Go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go and hit that like button. I won't mind. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys on my next week on my Week in Review. You guys have a good week. Bye. Hey nerds, if you like this video, go ahead and click that Geek What icon and subscribe. And if you like this video, go ahead and join me every Sunday with my Week in Review.